Hi Aoife, thanks for giving us some of your time ahead of the Old Trafford match. First of all, how's the recovery going?
Recovery's going really well at the moment. I'm about 9 months along now, and I've just started training back with the team, fully in training pretty much. So I'm going to play some academy games, still have to be built up a little bit more, and then hopefully I'll be back with the team.
Do you ever think about that moment when you're back on the pitch? Do you visualise it?
Yes and no. I mean, there's just so much to get stuck into every day that I'm just really immersed in the process of like rehab and recovery. Sometimes when the days are maybe a little bit harder, I think, okay, what's the light at the end of the tunnel? But most of the time, I'm just really transfixed on what we're doing day to day.
Would you say you've learnt anything about yourself during this time, during this process?
Yeah, I think sort of being able to work hard, be resilient, stay committed to the process. It's an unusual situation in that we have to work for many months in an ACL rehab, 10, 11 months to finally get back on the pitch. There's not many things in life that are probably so single focused and single minded. So I've definitely learned a little bit about resilience probably, and also the importance of being part of a team and allowing yourself to be supported by other people.
Have you felt a part of the larger squad even though you've been on a different training programme?
Yeah, absolutely. So the rehabbing players still go in and follow the same schedule as the training squad. We eat at the same time, we're still involved in the meetings, still go to a lot of the games. And as a team we're quite close, we do quite a lot outside of training. For example, we watched Mamma Mia at the theatre on Sunday down in London. So we do enough outside of just what we do on the pitch to still feel involved, even if you're not in the starting 11.
When did you decide to become a footballer? Were there any other career paths that were enticing to you?
It wasn't so much that I decided to be a professional footballer, because when I was at school it wasn't actually a career path. We did it, everyone that was sort of at my level was playing, but then interestingly it sort of became an opportunity that you could start to take a contract for it, and at the start that was like in a semi-professional manner, in that you could do it but you still needed to either do another job or have education, and then over time the contracts became quite clearly full-time. So I kind of just slipped into it a little bit, even though I've always been really competitive about football. It wasn't something that you could dream of when you were younger, because it actually wasn't a possibility at that point.
So obviously we're all looking forward now to the game at Old Trafford. How important do you think the games in the big stadium are for the growth of the women's game?
Massively important. We obviously played Arsenal the weekend just past at the Emirates. We won 3-2, yes. And that was under the lights, and there was about 40,000 people there. And it's atmospheres like that made women's football seem really attractive. We're lucky at Leigh actually, because I think we have regularly one of the biggest attendances in the league, if not the biggest. And not just the attendance, the actual atmosphere. There's a real buzz about the place. So for us, Old Trafford is like Leigh on steroids. It's really good, and that's why it's really important, because we want fans to go to the games and not just enjoy the football but enjoy everything that comes around it.
What does it mean to the squad to be playing at Old Trafford?
It means so much to the squad. A lot of us are actually Man United fans, so even the idea of being on that pitch is really important and sort of really impressive. The team has played on that pitch 2 times before, obviously back in March and during the COVID regulated period. So even though it will be, a really amazing experience, we have to remember that it's another game, it's another league game, and not allow ourselves to be completely overwhelmed by the location.
And how important is the fans in filling Old Trafford and also getting behind the team?
The fans are so important in filling Old Trafford and getting behind the team, and to be honest, they're great at Leigh as well. So for example at the Emirates, I wasn't sat with our substitutes, I was sat up in one of the lounges, and we were sort of, obviously Arsenal are red and United are red, so it wasn't immediately clear where our fans were sat just from where I was, but when we scored, oh my gosh, we knew exactly where the United fans, because the whole corner just sort of like lit up and were just so loud. and surely we've got to have the biggest sort of away contingent in the league. So yeah, the fans are absolutely massive to us, and it's up to us really to kind of live up to their expectation.
Thinking about those fans, as you're aware, there's a few songs and chants for different players. Have you got a favourite?
Well, actually, ISA 2 has got a bit of a chant, and I thought that the fans had created it for her, but actually it's some of the players have created a chant for ISA 2. I'm not going to embarrass myself by singing it on this podcast before you ask, but that is a really good one if you ever get to hear it.
Okay, so we've got to hear that, we've got to find it, we've got to repeat it.
Yeah, I think it might be on someone's Instagram story, like Millie's. I feel like Millie's the way in. It might be on her TikTok or something.
Okay.
It's really good. It gives the fans chance a good run for its money. Actually,
There's a challenge there.
yeah, that is a challenge. That's a real challenge.
You obviously made such a really strong start to your United career. Is there one moment from on the pitch that really stands out for you?
It seems quite a while back now. There were many moments. That first game that I played for United, which was at Lee, was really special. It was under the lights against Reading. I think it was a 2-0 win from my memory, so that was really nice. There's been quite a few of them. Actually, the Old Trafford game in March that I wasn't a part of, I was injured. That was so special because we obviously won, and it was such a lovely day as well. Even with the weather, like little things like that make a difference to the atmosphere. So probably those two are the ones that kind of immediately stand out.
And in terms of your return, what are your goals?
My goals are to be really useful to the team and to give the biggest contribution that I can give. I feel so ready to play. I trust the physio, and the physio that I work with, if he said jump, I'd say how high. So I'm trusting and I'm being patient, but I feel like a bow and arrow, been pulled back, and I'm ready to go. So I'm really excited. I'm so excited to sort of be back on that pitch. I'm excited to see whether I'll bottle out of wearing my collar up or collar down. But we'll just have to see on the morning of that day.
We'll come to that one shortly. You talked about being useful. You're one of the players on the leadership team. What's that experience like?
There's a few of us on the leadership team. Obviously, Katie is the captain. And then there's such a vast experience in the team, so that there's me, Hayley and Honor that sort of form part of a leadership group, and really that just means that we make sure that we're representing the team well, and that we're aware of the badge, we're aware of what the team means to us as players, and also what it means to the fans. So we try and sort of convey the interests of the team, and we need to have a think about what we want our week to look like, or if we've had a bad result, we need to be the ones leading the pack in kind of being reflective and maybe sometimes giving feedback. But really it's just about a responsibility to push for the interests of this team, which is to sort of place higher in the league than we've ever done before.
Got some quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Short sleeve or long sleeve?
Short sleeve.
You might have already answered this. Collar up or collar down?
Collar up, and I just hope that I don't bottle it.
You said it now.
Well,
Gotta go with it.
I'd done my kit shoot with the collar up, and for me the collar up is just about just doing something a bit different. Look, I've not been on the pitch for a while, so it's like you only live once, So the reason why I might bottle it is because a few people on social media, they sort of said, "Oh, you think you're Cantona wearing your collar up?" And then I sort of had a bit of a moment where I'm like, "Oh, so we'll see whether I sort of stick to my guns and just wear the collar up and maybe stand out a little bit, or whether I actually go, do you know what? Don't want to draw attention. I don't know how I'm going to feel, so we'll see." What would you do?
You've got to go for it.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to go for it now. You've got to make your statement.
Yeah, okay.
Can't back out of it.
Yeah, I know, I've spoken too much about it.
Have you got a favourite kit from this season?
Yes, I do. Like, obviously the classic is always the red, but the green this year, I like the trim. I like the trim of the round neck, and then the green that we played, this weekend at the Emirates. Red is the classic, right? But green is actually my favourite colour. So.
Okay. Daytime or nighttime match?
Nighttime match.
Here's a question that's dividing some of the fans. Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Ham and pineapple.
Have you got a favourite Christmas film?
Love Actually.
Okay. And last of all, the fans. How have they been since you joined, and what do they bring to a match day?
The fans have been great since I've joined. What do they bring to a match day? Numbers, passion, volume, expectations, and then on the flip side of that, as players we feel that responsibility.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time, and I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say we can't wait to see you back on the pitch soon.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks.